So welcome everybody. My name is Mark Swindell. For those that don't know me, I work at GreenStones and I run the mastermind groups and some of the business growth consultancy within GreenStones. I work with Simon for many years, and that's how we kind of met and started this up. And obviously we're trying to deliver as much good content as we can for customers and people in the local business community. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Steve, who should be coming on there he is. There he is. And just very, very quickly, the reason for Steve's hat is because he's got worse hair than me, I think.
The hair on the side of my head is as like bouffant as it is on the top. I have to control it.
So I first met Steve, I think it was around 7 or 8 years ago. And he probably wouldn't like to, but I would like to consider Steve now a friend who we've met several times and had lots of interesting chats together. I will let Steve do the proper intro, but for those of you with
the proper intro?
Yeah, the proper intro.
You didn't tell me how to do a proper intro? Oh, shit.
Well, I'm sure you can improvise. So I first met Steve at a mastermind event back in, probably 2012, something like that. And the thing that stuck out in my mind most was Steve doesn't pull his punches, I think it's fair to say. Doesn't really have a filter sometimes, and uses some language that other people find offensive. And on this one particular instance, there was a gentleman in the audience that didn't like Steve's use of a certain word, and did say that he was enjoying the content, but if Steve was going to carry on using such profanities, that he was going to leave. If I remember rightly, your simple answer was, that's absolutely fine. You are free to do whatever you want, and I'm not holding you here, which obviously was a struggle for me not to really laugh too much about it.
Yeah. No, the thing is, I wasn't rude about it. I just genuinely, if he genuinely felt he didn't want to be there, he's more than welcome to go. And do you know what the weird thing was? What baffled me is he bloody stayed.
Yes.
That's what was weird. I was like, all right, mate, fine. All right, well, keep enjoying it then, or not. Whatever battle you're having, it's fine.
So anyway, Steve, would you like just to give us a bit of a reason as to why you're here today with us?
Well, you asked me, and I like you a lot, so that was the main reason. And also, you said that there's, potentially some people that you were sharing this with that, could do with some support and some advice on regard to improving their confidence on camera, improving the speaking skills. And, my history is I was a professional comedy actor for over a decade, and I had my main training was live theatre training, and I was fortunate to perform around Europe and that kind of stuff. And when I was at drama school, it was all theatre training. So when it comes to the speaking skills, I've had a lot of experience doing that stuff. And then for over 13 years, I've been coaching and training business professionals, here, Europe and the States as well. So now we've got this time together, and I said to you, like, ask the people what they want to do, what they want support with, and we've got a shit ton of questions. I know we've got just under an hour to do this, so I don't know if we'll get through everything, but I'm going to do my best to support you. And if you stay till the end, I have the most amazing gift for you. I kid you not. You will be so chuffed that you turned up today. You know what it is, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, it really is worth it. And the timing with this is brilliant, because after Thursday, you wouldn't be getting this. So I'm excited for you.
Oh, right. I really appreciate that. And the thing is as well for me is that more and more people are using this platform. And for me, so you came to our event in November and talked about the impact of communication over video.
Yeah.
One of the actual guests there now does most of their stuff online because of the stuff that you imparted in him. So that's one sort of recommendation. But also, we're now going to be selling online, aren't we? On video, because we're going to be having these chats with people, and we're not going to be going out to see them. So I think it's really important to deliver that kind of information and make people feel confident in doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the, so if I could just start, as we discussed beforehand, one of the things that I always remember is your ego talk. So can
Yeah.
you sort of give us a bit of background
Sure.
on the ego part of, because most people think when you say ego, they think egotistical kind of.
Yeah. So first of all, there'll be a much more in-depth look at this concept in the gift that I share with you at the end. So, but as a kind of overview, is we've got this voice in our head. I mean, I have, you have, and it might be prominent, and you might not be as aware of it, or you might be very aware of it. And it's the what I call the ego voice, or the unsupportive voice. Now, it could be the ego being, oh yeah, look at me, I'm the big person. But for me, that's still unsupportive, because there's a lot of, obviously, when someone's like that, there's a lot of crap going on underneath the surface, really. Or there's sometimes it says you're not good enough, no one's going to listen to you, you're not funny, why you even bother doing a video, no one's going to show up to your webinar, all that unsupportive stuff. And we get it in business, we get it in our personal life. So I call that the ego voice. And what's really interesting is being able to have an awareness of when that is popping up within ourselves and what that stops us doing. Because what I found is most of my clients, and myself for a long time, is not having an awareness of that, and then just letting that run our behavior consistently all the time, when that is not the truth of who we are, that little voice. It's just not. But a lot of times it can be a bit tricky, and we can believe that is us, or that the voice is right. And we often don't disassociate ourselves from that voice. We just believe that's us, which is bullshit. Let me tell you that. So one of the concepts that I have is, in fact, before I share what that is, no, let me share that. Is I say, don't be in your ego as much. If you can get rid of it completely, great. Move from the ego over here to the we go. The we go is, break it down in half. We go together. And that is the most magical place that you and I can be when it comes to communicating, whether it's face to face, on video, or wherever it is. Because what it does, it takes all the pressure off of you and me. Because let me tell you this, and you might not like this, but you're not important. I'm not important right now. This is not about me. This is about you and for you. And I consider you my audience. This is really important distinction, because then if it's all about you, I don't have to get caught in my head about me, because it's not about me. I just happen to be the delivery mechanism for the message. And there are some really cool tools, tips, techniques, and strategies that I can then implement to make sure that you receive this message in a way that engages you, that challenges you, that impacts you, or that gives you space to think differently to how you have done before. So the WeGo, there's a lot of magic in the WeGo, because also what it does is let me take a step back. If you're caught in your ego, you're locked in your head. You're locked in, oh, I wonder what they're thinking of me. Oh, do they like me? Oh, I sound like an idiot. I smell like shit. Or I'm going to lose, I'm going to mess this up like always. Or actually, I wonder what I'm having for dinner tonight. If you get locked in there, is literally impossible to be present and in the moment and connecting with the person or the people you're talking to. Now, if you're recording a video, you are still talking to one person. Like if you listen to how I talk to you right now, I say you. I don't say all of you, because there's like 20 people on this call, but I don't say all of you watching this right now, because you're watching from your home and you're going, what do you mean? All of us? Where else is everyone in there? But if you say you, it feels like I'm talking to you. And that's really important. That's one tip when it comes to video: talk to one person always. So the WeGo, there's a lot of magic, because I'm not caught in my head. I'm purely focused on delivering my message in a way that's going to engage you. So the WeGo takes all of the pressure off of you. And there are two critical questions that you can ask when you have the awareness of these things popping up in your head. So the ego, the unsupportive stuff. So first of all, you've got to be aware of the unsupportive voice. So raising the level of self-awareness is very, very important. And actually all the tools that I'm going to share with you, having self-awareness is a really key factor in accelerating your skills moving forward over a period of time. It's about consistent implementation. So there's two critical questions. So when that comes up, so for example, say you always mess it up. Okay. The question I want you to ask that voice, and I want you to disassociate and go, that voice, because it's not the truth of who you are, is that true? So say to that voice, that statement, I always mess it up, is that true? The voice is going to come back straight away and go, Yeah, you always mess it up. And then a lot of times, you might have a struggle. You might go, oh, yeah, I do, don't I? No, don't do that. Because that's the answer, but it's just buying into that voice. But then the next question, is that true? It's going to go, yes. The next question, you do this. Where is the evidence? Now, the minute you ask the voice that, the voice does this. No evidence? Not really any evidence? Because most of the time there is no evidence. And then that voice shuts the hell up. And then you go, oh, actually, that isn't true. That's just a thought I've kept thinking. Now, there might be the odd occasion. There might be the odd occasion when you go, where's the evidence? And the voice comes back and goes, you remember when you were 7 and you had to stand up in English class and you read a poem and everyone laughed at you and you messed it up? Yeah, you always mess it up. When you were 7, that happened like 20, 30, whatever years ago. And it's crazy as humans how we lock an experience in like that and let that determine our behavior till the end of time. So most of the time, it's not going to have a comeback, but then it might do. But then you have to realize that was so long ago that isn't the truth of where you are right now. Yes, it might have been a painful experience. And as humans, when we have trauma and painful experience, that stops us doing that thing for a long time unless we deal with it and look at it and let it go. So yeah, so that would be the précis of the ego to ego. The we-go is really where the magic is. And I've seen this with so many of my clients that when they focus more on the we-go, you literally, they're two completely different ways of being. You can't be in your we-go and in the ego, the unsupportive, because they're so opposite. You can't be feeling that in the moment. That's the cool thing about it. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. And one of the things I picked up from you last time, and I noticed it a lot on this call, is about eye contact. And I know you've talked about eye contact because it's very different to
Important. Yeah. It might feel a bit awkward for you watching right now, but eye contact. Yeah. Look down the lens of the camera. Look down the lens of the camera.
Yeah. That was the key for me. I think was when you're recording or you're having the conversation. It's not to look at. Because I can look at you and you can see I'm looking below you. So it feels uncomfortable.
Keep looking at my picture on Zoom and I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But you've tuned into this webinar and you're looking thinking, where is Mark? Where's Steve looking? But I'm looking, but actually now I'm looking at you. And this is a tip for video. If you're using your phone, it frustrates the hell out of me, is that a lot of people, when they do video, you see they're not looking directly at you. And you're like, where are you looking? But you know where they're looking at themselves.
Yeah, they're looking at their nose and their hair.
Why are you looking at yourself? It's not about you. Look, find the lens, even if it's that little pinhole. Look down the lens of the camera because I don't see it as the lens. See it as one person who you're talking to. It's really important because that massively increases engagement.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. And we'll and I will obviously have to now look over to the side to check on all the questions.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
If does have any questions, and obviously please feel free to put them in the Q&A. We will go through the questions you've asked previously, but as you're on the call live, if you have any questions that you want us to
there's one comment in the chat from Kim.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I try to focus more clearly only to do. Kim, is that with regard to looking down the lens of the camera? Just quickly pop that in the chat, yes or no. Oh, no, the ego. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You are not on your own. 99.99999% of people do it. If not just when it comes to doing video or speaking skills, that in other areas of life as well. So it's not just for this. It's a really good place to cultivate with regard to mindset.
One of the things I put on the post out when we were advertising this is this for me is not just for while we're on video. This is skills that can be adapted once we are back talking to people and
absolutely. yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I will start off with some of these questions. As I say, if you can put the questions in the Q&A, it's just easier for me to mark them off as we go through. So the first question I've got here is, and we may have covered some of them, so just I meet people to find out about businesses and promote my business. Should my mindset differ for online as opposed to face-to-face?
No. It depends. It's a very generalized question, But if there's, it just so happens that you're conversing with someone in a virtual environment, you just can't shake their hand or be in their space. For me, there's absolutely no difference with regard to the mindset. From a technical point of view and skills, understanding, like even now, I can see just here that my green screen is creeping in just there. So if I bring my camera forward, it's gone now. So having some technical situational awareness with regard to that and what frame you've got, okay, you might have to be, that might be different. But with regard to the mindset, for me, there's absolutely no difference. I have a real love for getting to know people, hearing their story, what makes them tick. So for me, this is just like having, oh, it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar to having a face-to-face meeting. So I would not change anything unless your current mindset isn't serving you in the right way, then for sure change it. But I wouldn't, personally, if it was me, I wouldn't change anything.
No, and I think that's the key area of the eye-to-eye contact as well, isn't it? Because you would do that if you was in person. You'd be looking at them. You wouldn't be looking down there and everything. Well, you shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that for me is massive, because you've got to keep your eye contact on that person, which builds the trust and authenticity. Yeah. And also, if you are doing that and you're not in the ego, you're more relaxed, I guess, and able to deliver who you are.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. If you're caught in the ego, you take yourself out of the present moment, and you can't connect with people.
Yeah, we've had one about tech, which I think we'll go through towards the end, just to your tech setup and all the rest of it, and what's good and what's sort of reasonably priced and stuff like that. We can go through afterwards.
Yeah.
When you have multiple people on a call, what's the trick to stopping people talking over each other? Everyone has an opinion and an ego and wants to make their point.
Yeah, I think if there's a lot of people on a call, maybe you have a moderator. That would be a good thing. Maybe you say, okay, so when it's your turn to speak, when you share your opinion, you've got 2 minutes maximum, unless you've set the boundaries that so-and-so is going to speak for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And that I would definitely have a moderator if there's a lot of people on the call, somebody to kind of chair it.
And you've also got, certainly on Zoom and some of the other stuff, you've got the ability to put your hand up as well. Yep. Raise your hand on some of the tech stuff at the bottom of the Zoom call. You can put your hand up. You can do all kinds of stuff.
And if someone is going on for too long, you can always mute them and move on to someone else.
You can. I'm glad you haven't got that power. Otherwise, you'd be muting me, wouldn't you? This is one I like, and I think you touched on some of it, but I know there's more on this. But I always hate seeing footage of myself. How can I avoid looking so gormless on video?
Okay, so to start with, there's going to be a massive self-awareness raiser, but to be able to assess yourself technically and not get caught in the kind of negative self-talk. I know it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but obviously a lot of people don't like looking at themselves. And if you think that you're looking at yourself and you look gormless, that's not a very supportive thing to say, even if it's a bit jokey as well. So in the gift that you receive later on, I'm going to give you access to the Speaking Revolution metric system, which has 7 foundational areas that you can use to assess technically different areas of your own speaking skills. And what that then does is that it allows you to objectively look at yourself rather than get caught in the emotion, because when we emotionally look at ourselves, it's very easy for that voice to come in and the unsupportive stuff. So it's the area of looking gormless is not on that metric system. So, and I promise you, if you are able to implement with regard to increasing your energy. So if you're looking gormless, that would suggest to me that there's a severe lack of energy within your body when you're speaking. Because, if I consciously decrease my energy and just like pause for no reason, I can look gormless very easily. And you're probably losing the will to live right now. So there's going to be a shift in mindset needed for sure with regard to actually, I'm going to watch myself so I can technically assess where I need to improve and what to improve and then implement to improve it. The thing is, you're doing the video is, if you're putting a video out there, it's not for you. You're not important. I'm not important. This is for your audience, for your clients, potential clients, your audience, the people you're speaking to. It's not about you. So anytime that comes in and go, I look gormless, I don't like looking at myself, just go, all right, I'm obviously in my ego. I need to move to my ego because this isn't for me or about me. I'm going to assess myself to improve my skills to then do this for my audience. and then it takes all the pressure off you. And then maybe if you see another video, you do look a bit gormless, you go, oh, okay, actually I need to improve my energy, or I need to actually feel my words more, or have more of an emotional connection and have more conviction or passion or enthusiasm or whatever that is. That would suggest to me that there's a lack of energy and a lack of emotional connection if the gormless face is happening.
I found, just out of interest, I found something really from November when we last sort of spoke properly, was not having a script, because you feel like you're doing this. And also, I think once you start talking about something that you are passionate about and you care about, I think that's the key. If you're going to record things, if you're talking about something that you're passionate about, it's much easier to be authentic and to deliver that with enthusiasm and everything else, isn't it? Whereas if you've got a script, you've currently, the ego's going, oh, you're going to forget this, or you're not going to, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. It's difficult with the script unless you've got a teleprompter.
Yes.
You know, and even that's an art form as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say, unless you're an expert at it as well, Ron Jeremy. Why do I find lives and webinars fine, but fluff things up on video?
I would suggest that lives and the kind of webinars, that kind of stuff is a natural way for you to communicate, because you've got interaction there and then, you know, you're getting feedback. You can actually have a conversation like I'm having with Mark right now, and a video it's not a natural way for us to communicate, right? It's certainly a learned skill. So that would, in my opinion, would be why. And it's easily, I'm going to make a word up, overcomeable, because all you need to do is just do it again and again and again, and you'll get used to it, because it might feel uncomfortable to start with. But the cool thing about comfort zones and feeling uncomfortable is just keep doing it, and very quickly you feel comfortable with it. So it's just because it's not a natural way for us to communicate. You don't get feedback there and then. And that's why it's very important to assess ourselves and have a metric system with certain parameters and things to focus on, because then we can assess that and actually objectively look and go, all right, is the presenter speaking slow enough so I can process every word? Even if you're looking at yourself, you can then go, all right, I need to up my energy or improve my emotional connection or improve the visual impact on camera, whatever that is. So it just makes it easier to become more engaging when you can assess yourself, and then just practice, rehearse, get used to doing it on your laptop, on a phone, and then it will become comfortable and it won't feel so alien. And a lot of times it feels weird because it's not how we naturally communicate as humans.
Yeah, again, something I took from last time was covering up my screen of my either my laptop or my phone, so that I wasn't looking at myself, and so that I wasn't checking on on the audience. And I think once, like you say, if you can technically review yourself rather than worrying about what your hair's like and all the rest of it, then it's
of course. Well, there's times where I haven't been happy with my hair, or I had a big spot on my nose or whatever that is, and I haven't put content out there because I felt self-conscious. And I understand it to a point, but then sometimes, you could go for weeks or months not doing that if you don't get out of your own way. And that was me being in my ego. Whereas when I'm in my ego, I don't care. I put content out. Yes. I look presentable to a point, but sometimes you just got to get out of your own way.
Brilliant. Kim's asked as well, what prep or checklist do you use, Steve, when deciding on putting a video together, or do you just get the idea and get on with it?
That's a really good question, Kim. I don't personally have a checklist, but I might make a couple of notes on my phone, a couple of bullet points, or sometimes I literally might just turn the camera on if I'm feeling it and I've got the energy, and just deliver the content. And there's times if you're doing a pre-recorded thing. So like recently I put together my new online course, and no matter what, you give myself a certain slot, and I know I have to be on it delivering it. So you have to pull the energy out, you have to deliver it. But even for that, it was more of kind of slides and me talking with the slides on Zoom and that kind of stuff. So I know the content inside out because I've been teaching it for 13 years. And so, it's do what works for you. If you feel you need a checklist and bullet points, do that. If you feel like it's better for you to just kind of put the camera on, do that. What I would say is know what you're talking about. Otherwise you'll end up waffling your face off and you'll lose the audience. So it certainly helps to know what you're talking about. And then, you know what, I say that, I'm going to check myself now. Sometimes you might just want to, if you do a live, and just have a chat and just get some stuff off your chest as well. And that's cool too. So it's what works for you. I don't personally use the checklist. Every now and then I might, just so I have a little bit of structure, I might do some bullet points and then stick to that. And the cool thing about shooting video, recording it, is you can edit out stuff. So you can do a little bit, then go back and do a little bit and do a little bit. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Not like recording it on a videotape, is it?
No, thankfully.
I like this one, and I think some of it's covered, but I think it's a great question. What's the one tip you would give for building trust with your audience on video?
Just be yourself. Such a cliche. People have heard it so many fucking times, but it is just be. Don't put on any airs and graces. Don't force things. Just be you. And not everyone's going to like you, and that's totally cool. And it would be really boring if they did. That would be a bit false as well. It's just be yourself as much as you can. And if you struggle with that concept, go and do some personal development work on yourself. If you don't know who you are, go on a personal development journey of discovery, whatever that is. I mean, it's just like be you. And also don't worry about what other people think of you, because that is such a great way to stop yourself putting content out there, or yourself out there, or in front of audiences, or doing lives or recorded videos as well. It just, there's only one of you, unless you're a twin, then it might kind of not be true. But you are unique, like really. And the more you just allow your personality to come through and not care what people think, the better. So that would be the quickest way. And you would look, and you sometimes you rub people up the wrong way, and that's okay as long as it's not intentional. That's totally cool.
Well, it's like we said at the beginning, isn't it? You offended somebody and they still stayed and listened to another hour of you.
Yeah, weird, right? Not intentionally offended them. I was very polite. I was very polite. But
yeah, you were. Yeah.
Cool.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, what are your top tips to recover when I lose my train of thought?
Yeah. So this one happened to me plenty of times. Even in the professional acting capacity, that's a nightmare, because you've got to pay an audience and that, and you really have to get. That's a bit more awkward because you can't come out of character. It's all like character comedy. So in a professional capacity, if you're doing that, I would just call the elephant in the room and go, bear with me a couple of seconds. I've completely lost my train of thought. I'm just going to check my notes. Even if it takes 20, 30 seconds, as long as you're there and you're doing that, that's fine. If you lose your train of thought on a live or face-to-face, just go, I completely blanked. Another way to it, go, well, what was I just saying?
Yeah.
And then an audience member shouts out, are you saying that? You go, yes. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Thank you. And you get your train of thought back again. So the most important thing is to do your best not to panic. Just go with what's happening right there and then. The more you ignore the fact that you fumbled or you forgot what you're saying and panic, the more the audience is going to panic. And then you've got panic. There's no good feeling within a room, or awkwardness, or whatever it is. But if you call it, if you share the truth of what's happening in the moment, the audience will be with you. They might even laugh their ass off. I'm sure there's been a time I've completely forgot what I'm saying. But it's just human. It's just real. Just be real with it and take the pressure off yourself, because you're human. Yeah, it will happen. So what? It just depends on the meaning you're ascribing to forgetting what you're saying or blanking or whatever. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. No one's going to die. Hopefully not. Depending on what you're talking about or what your role is.
Yes.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents worth.
Brilliant, thank you. And I think we make a judgment on a judgment we think other people are making, don't we? That's the key here. And the reality of that is so far away from what is normally going on in somebody else's head. They're probably thinking about what they're having for dinner rather than worrying about what it is you've forgotten to talk about. Brilliant, thank you. How can I calm my nerves before giving a webinar?
Breathe. Breathe. Because a lot of times, if you've got nerves coming up, so interestingly, I'm just going to sit back a bit here. Let me just put this down. Just bring my mic a bit closer to me. So it's a lot of times when people get nervous, they just breathe here. So I don't know if you can actually see this. So I'm just going to breathe at the top of my chest, and the shoulders go up. Whereas if I breathe in my diaphragm, you won't see my shoulders move at all. So right now I'm going to take a very slow deep, and this is how slow I would breathe if you are feeling nervous. I'd breathe this slowly, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Don't do it too fast because you're faint. But just take slow, deep, like even do that for a minute, 2, 3, depending on how nervous you are. Because all nerves is misplaced energy. And it can be bordering on excitement as well. But what doing the breathing does is it just gives more oxygen into your body and helps you scientifically function better, right? Whereas if you are nervous, a lot of times we breathe up in the chest, so we're not getting full capacity, loads of oxygen in us. And it will even if you just did 2 breaths as slow, you just calm your whole system and being down. And for me, it is as simple as that, is breathing. And also, have you prepared in a way where you feel comfortable with your content and ready for what you're doing with the tech, with your content, because that can also have an impact on nerves as well. But for me, it's remember to breathe properly, but breathe into your diaphragm. So your stomach and your lungs, not the top of your chest. And if you're getting nervous and you're going, just remember this conversation, as Steve said, to breathe in my diaphragm and my lungs, not just, that's the worst thing you can do, is just breathe up there, because you'll get lightheaded and then you'll get even more nervous, and it's a vicious cycle, and then you might faint and you might not turn up for your webinar.
That's a bit extreme, but yes, it's possible. I was also told as well to try and make the exhale out through your mouth twice as long as the inhale.
Yeah. So that's more of a proper meditation technique. So, for example, if I breathe in for 4 seconds, then breathe out for 8. Now, depending on how cool you are with your breathing, how much lung capacity you have, the more you do it, the easier it gets. When I'm in full meditation mode, I do 8 and 16. So in breath for 8, out for 16. You can go a bit longer if you want, but so get used to it. The more you do it, the greater lung capacity you're going to have as well. So yeah, thanks for that reminder. That's very cool.
Brilliant, thank you. I've got yeah. How can I be more energetic but remain authentic?
This is a great question. So this is potentially going to be a bit of trial and error as well. So one of the ways you will know if you are being energetic and authentic is to film yourself or record a webinar or whatever it is you're doing and watch it back and go, do I feel like I'm being authentic? There could be a challenge at times where you feel like you are going way over the top. And even if you look at yourself, you might feel like you're going way over the top. However, your audience goes, no, I love that. That's consistently happens. Our own perception of ourselves and how we come across, a lot of times it's very different to what the audience is perceiving. So that's why it's important to assess ourselves technically and have a metric system of the different areas to work on. But definitely film yourself and watch it back. And it might be a case that it feels alien to you, but it's great for the audience. So get some feedback from people you trust, not people who are just going to blow smoke up your ass just for the sake of it. Just some people who say, actually, no, I really like that as well. The more you do it, you'll find a new minimum level of energy, and then it will become natural to you the more you implement that. But watching it back and getting some feedback from people you trust, that's going to be a great way too.
And you've talked before about hand gestures and things, and obviously eye contact you've already done, but I've obviously heard you talking about hand gestures and things like that.
Of course, yeah, to come across even more authentic, and this is consciously or unconsciously for your audience, is using gestures that support your message when you talk. I mean, here I'm aware that you can't see; it's just kind of below my chest. You can't really see. But if I am going to make a gesture, I'm going to use a big gesture or a small gesture that supports my message. But what I'm not going to do is use a big gesture, like a massive gesture, and this tiny gesture that supports my message. You're going, okay, your brain's probably going, well, that didn't make sense right there. A lot of people don't have an awareness of the gestures they make. Consciously, I just did the big for the small and the small for the big, but it confuses the hell out of people when our gestures or our visual impact doesn't support what we're saying as well. So if you want to come across more authentic, use gestures that actually support your message. Then don't consciously or unconsciously confuse your audience either. And a lot of people have no awareness of visually how they come across. It's not their fault. You might not do either. It's just your awareness has never been brought into it, or you never even considered it before. However, most of the people you come into contact with in your professional life and personal life will have been blessed with sight and will be blessed with sight as well. So that's why the visual impact is so important.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Simon, I've got that one. I will go through that one because I was going to ask Steve about something similar myself. Um, so again, I think this has probably been mostly covered. But how much does prior preparation to lead to being more confident?
Preparation definitely helps for sure. And for some of the, you know, the gigs that I did as a comedy actor, we rehearsed our asses off for hours and hours and hours to get to a stage where it looked like it was just happening there and then in the moment. In a professional capacity, when it comes to sharing the stuff that I share with the tools and techniques and the stuff I'm sharing with you, I don't do a huge amount of preparation now because I know the stuff and I've been teaching it for 13 years. I will, however, go through certain slides. I will deliver some stuff to myself and record it if I haven't delivered that bit of content before until I feel comfortable. You can over rehearse for sure, so it feels flat, but it's really, there is no one size fits all with it. You need to find out the level of rehearsal and prep that works for you so you can deliver your communication in a way where you know you've nailed it or given it your absolute best shot, and you get, you know, decent feedback from that as well. So some people do a little bit of rehearsal, some people do a lot. It just depends on what works for you. But preparation is really important to give you that confidence that, you know, that you can focus purely on how you deliver your message, not remembering the content and that kind of stuff. Because when you're searching to remember content, you can't focus on any of the tools, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, brilliant. Thank you. Okay. So, what is your tip for keeping your eye on the camera rather than the screen when on conference calls? Well,
you said that before, didn't you? Like cover the screen if you need
yeah.
to.
And also one of the other things that you gave me, which I also use, is I use a Post-it note which has a big arrow that says "Look here," attached to the side of the camera. Look here.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can even put it on a bit of tape or whatever. Yeah. That's one that you might have to have a little battle with yourself. Just always look down the lens. So put it this way, just know that if you look down the lens, you're going to have a much better connection with the person or the people you're talking to. You look away, you're going to have no connection. I look at it as no connection because I know the power that looking down the lens does have.
Excellent, thank you. What is the one tactic to employ in a video interaction that you wouldn't employ in a face-to-face interaction?
That's a good question. The one tactic I would employ. I don't have the answer to that right now.
No, I think it's you need to be just as genuine, don't you? So I don't.
Someone's putting not wearing trousers.
Yeah,
I'm definitely wearing trousers.
Don't stand up, Steve.
No, I'm not going to. Yeah, maybe that. Like for me, there's I right now off the top of my head, I don't consciously think of things I wouldn't do there and I would do there or not. I feel like I do a lot of the same stuff.
Isn't it? I think that's where it comes.
Yeah.
You're trying to be you, whether it's in person or on video, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's
So I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if I have one.
No, I was going to say that's brilliant. Okay, so before we go too much onto tech, which we've got one of my favourites here is what is your biggest video fear?
I think that no one's going to watch it.
Okay.
No one's going to watch it. No one's going to interact.
Tech issues.
What's that?
Tech issues.
I don't have a fear about tech issues because I'm all right with the tech. But it's not a shoot. I wouldn't say it's a fear, but it's something that I think, oh, shit, I've put the video out is anyone going to watch it? You know, even now after putting out so many videos and stuff, it just, you know, I'm still human.
Yeah. Okay.
So that would be it.
I think
so
again,
we've still got Q&A, and then also stuff in the comments as well.
Yeah. So I hate listening to my voice. How can we deal with this? I think that goes back to assessing it on a technical basis.
You're gonna have to get out of your ego, get in your WeGo, and sort of get over yourself and realize that it's not about you, it's about your audience, and you're gonna assess yourself for your audience to make sure that you deliver your communication in a way that really engages them. So actually, what you think about your own voice, that's the ego. That's the ego. That's not your ego. Your ego knows that you've got a voice, and be thankful for that. And we're just going to use it. So yeah, technically assessing yourself objectively, the more you do that, the easier it will become. I mean, I don't like the sound of my voice. Some people do, but most people don't. But it's just, I get it's not about me. And, you know, that would stop if I just focused on how weird my voice sound. I wouldn't do any bloody videos. I wouldn't get on calls like this. So yeah.
And I guess it's just it is about technically assessing it, isn't it, rather than anything else. So
yeah.
Simon's talking about do you need special tech to set up green screen? I know we only have you to focus on, so I think what he's asking is a conversation that we had beforehand, the difference between on Zoom between having a meeting and a webinar. So I'll quickly go through what we do, Simon, and I know that Steve does have his views, but we have the webinar add-on on Zoom. And the reason for that is, so in events like this, where we want to deliver content as if we were in a room in a hotel and we've got a speaker, so Steve stands up and presents to us, then this gives the opportunity to only have that one view. There's no distraction, so people can look at Steve, concentrate on what he's talking about and really take it in, rather than having different people. You know, I could get up and go over here and you're looking at that rather than looking at Steve and all that kind of stuff. The kids could come in, could have a BBC moment where somebody's dragging their kid across the floor or something like that. But the idea on the webinar is to have that. If you were going to be, we use the meeting part of Zoom, if you're going to be having a group discussion about things, so as if you were sat around a board room. No, Lindsay, we can't see anybody. All I can see.
No, can't see your faces. This is I prefer to do the Zoom rooms in that sense, to see people's face and have their video on. Yeah. Even if I'm delivering training a webinar, I delivered a training yesterday to 25 people. I could see most of people's faces, and you can see a few on the top, and then I can scroll across. And so I like getting people on and doing live coaching and having some interaction, that kind of stuff. So, but you know, this obviously this webinar style works well for this too. It just depends on what you want. But I really like to see people's faces and to gauge interaction and hear people talking and you know, getting them asking the questions on voice and that kind of stuff. So
calling them out if they're not paying attention.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
But that's more interaction. So it depends. For me, it depends on what you want to achieve from the webinar.
Yeah, and it depends on your style as well.
Yes. And ours was to get your information across so that everyone could see your wonderful face and your great humour, rather than being distracted by perhaps other stuff that's going on in the background. Simon, if that doesn't answer the question, please let me know. Lindsay has asked about what tech and things like that. So can you just very quickly go through? There's another question in there about lighting.
Okay. So with regard, let's start with lighting. Do your best to get a natural light source on you. Now, where I'm sitting right now, over there is a window and there is light coming in that way. It's obviously not a lot of strong light because it seems fairly even. I have just a standard light in my room up there. Now, what I do have behind me, as you can see, this is white. I have a massive green screen on my wall. It's an Elgato wall-mounted green screen. They do a lot of stuff for gaming, but this thing is absolutely amazing. They also do a pop-up one that you can put literally just behind you, but you don't have much of a frame because it's quite thing. But it's attached to the wall, or you can mount it onto the ceiling. So for me, otherwise, it's a very bland wall, and I just like the flexibility that it gives me. This here is an Audio Technica ATR 2100 microphone. They are fantastic. I'm not sure if they're doing them anymore, but they're a brilliant mic for podcasts, for trainings. I mean, you can hear the sound quality of my voice as well. I've just bought a different one, which is the ATR 2020 Plus, which is a plus sign, which is a fantastic mic as well. It's about 130, 140 quid. And then on here, I've got the boom arm, which was $9.99 from Amazon. I mean, the tech is really simple, and I use Zoom to even record. I use Zoom to record all my course as well, because I can use my green screen, and it's just simple. And then I edited it in Adobe Premiere, which get a bit technical, but it's like, for me, I love the green screen. I love the flexibility it has. And one thing I do is, for example, I wonder if I can actually change my virtual background now. So, for example, So no, does that work if I change that? Yeah, you can see that. So Carl is a client of mine. He's also my accountant. But what I can do there is, so when I jump on a client call, so a new client for the time or a new meeting, a lot of times that's his LinkedIn profile, but I'll actually take a screenshot of their website and put it behind me. and it just makes things a little bit more memorable. So I've had people go, "Oh, what is that a website?" Or you can change it, and it just I just like the flexibility of a green screen, especially if you've got a bland background or it's not very interesting. And yeah, and it's just, obviously, as you can see, it's very, very easy to change it as well. So the Elgato, the wall mounted green screen, was about 150, 160 quid. In the bigger scheme of things, they make everything feel and look and sound a lot more professional. And if you can do it and you've got the space, or you can use the other green screen, but get the Elgato one. Don't get a knockoff version, because there's another knockoff version which is pretty much near the same price, and it is pants.
Brilliant, thanks. Kim's asked about headphones versus no headphones, and saying that I'm quite clear. All I'm on, unfortunately, I'm just on my Mac, and obviously in the background you can see my kitchen. So it's
yeah.
I mean, I know you can add the backgrounds to it. I think I was on a webinar the other day with my I was on the deck of the Starship Destroyer from Star Wars. So
yeah. The thing for me is I just like how the headphones feel. I haven't got any sound outside, no distractions. I can hear people really, really well. I just prefer, if I'm doing a training video where I'm just recording a video, I don't have my headphones on then. But if I'm talking to someone like this, I just love the headphones. These are Bose noise cancelling headphones. I just like how it feels as well. Or you can use normal headphones, phone ones, whatever.
And I also remember back from when you were saying about if you're just starting out, if you're going to record yourself on the phone, try and use the headphones as a mic, because you can get some better sound quality. Obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Don't ever just use the phone as it is. Yeah, stick headphones in. And you can also get, if you want another mic for the sort of smartphone mic, is the Rode Lavalier Smart Plus. It's about 40, 50 quid. Fantastic professional grade mic that you can pop into your phone.
Brilliant, thank you. Kathy actually does some curry cooking courses and stuff, and
yeah,
managing her business quite a bit at the moment. So she's asked, what mic would you recommend if you're not sitting and speaking? So I guess it's some form of lapel mic.
That is, you probably need a boom arm and some kind of mic. I don't know what that would be. I would actually find people who do some online cooking shows and that kind of stuff and see. It depends how big your kitchen is. You probably wouldn't want a mic right next to you on the surface. You might want to get a boom mic that comes over the top somewhere. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure what that would be.
Would a lapel mic not be any good?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that would work if it's plugged into a phone. That would potentially work if that's what it would be. Okay. Yeah, I would get the Rode Lavalier Smart Plus mic, but also get I think it's the S something C extension cable as well with it, which is like 10 meters. So it plugs into your phone. You can pop it under your shirt. Like you've got loads of room.
Yeah. And I think we've some. Kathy, I'll message you the details afterwards. Because we've used some of the lapel mics certainly to record.
Oh, sorry, it's a smart.
Yeah, that's fine. When you obviously came to ours, we used the lapel mic.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
Bluetooth over the phone as well, so they work really well.
Yeah.
And we've got one that I'm just going to go back slightly. I understand eye contact is important, but it's also important to look at the person you are talking to for facial body language feedback. Any tips, i.e. is it better to be further away from the camera?
It depends. A lot of time, people are used to like this setup, how we are now. I'm aware that my frame is just here. I'm used to kind of quickly looking at my picture on the camera. It depends if you've got the capacity, and if I just move this over here right now, you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
But what it does is it gives me a much wider frame if I need that. But sometimes you don't need it. So it just depends on what you want to achieve, how much of your body you want to show. And because a lot of people, they literally just do the kind of shoulders and above. So that's the kind of already you have to go off and you're able to look at.
And I think it is important to be able to read their body language, but like you said, the whole eye contact thing is massively, massively important.
Yeah.
You want them to feel that you're talking to them, not just their.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I'm talking to you, I'm looking down the lens, but when you're talking to me, I'm looking at your face, right?
Yeah.
So, and sometimes you can flick down a bit, but I would be more inclined to look down the lens because it's way more engaging.
Brilliant. Okay. So I was going to ask you a question. Given the
Yeah.
changes and that everybody's working from home now, if they've got these, obviously Zoom are integrating the virtual backgrounds in because you don't need the green screens as much anymore if your computer's powerful enough and everything else, and they're okay. They're not the best, but they are okay. But
Yeah.
does it tell you more about somebody? Is there not an opportunity to learn more about them if you can see stuff behind them? You know, what's your views on?
Depends what the background is.
Right. Okay.
You would not learn more about me by a beige wall.
No.
I don't consider myself to be a very beige person. So what it does to me, I'm a creative nut. So I know this isn't very creative. I just wanted it to be simple.
Yeah.
But I've got more flexibility here. But yeah, it depends what your background is. I mean, what I see in your kitchen, does that tell us more about you? It tells us you've got a kitchen. You know what I mean?
It does.
You know, but it depends.
They've got a clean kitchen.
Yeah, it all depends on what you're shown and what you want to show. So
Okay. Yeah.
I just think if it's bland and boring, a green screen just gives more flexibility.
And what do you think to the sort of backgrounds you can get in Zoom? Because it can be a bit glitchy depending on what colours you wear and all kinds of stuff, can't it?
Yeah, I would always make sure I had a proper decent a green screen. I wouldn't just use the standard one because it you know, it sort of makes soft on here and it doesn't work that well. You know, but if you're doing it for like podcasting or training videos, I would invest in some decent gear.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Well, I think that's it for the questions.
Cool.
Very well on time. Has anybody got anything else that, if not, I'll let Steve talk about his gift.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move straight into that if we get.
Okay. So the timing of when Mark asked me to do this was fantastic because, you know, just before the C word thing kicked off, I'd literally just filmed my new online course. So it's 8 modules. It's 2 hours and 23 minutes worth of content. It's the best and the simplest stuff I've been teaching for over 13 years. And then it all kicked off and it kind of knocked me for 6 a bit. And I was like, shit. I was just about to get ready to go to market and like put it out there and blah, blah, blah. Then I had a battle with myself for about 3 or 4 weeks and thinking, is it a bit insensitive to start selling my services? And I just, my ego was being a bugger and all that kind of stuff. So intuitively, I thought, you know what, I'm sure there are some people struggling out there right now, whether that's financially, emotionally, mentally. And I just wanted to do my bit for the business community. So what I decided to do last week, just for a very short period in it, and it ends on Thursday, is to gift the whole course away. So for free. And because you're in this time period, you are going to get access to that for free. Now, what I've said to people is that if at some point you would like to make a contribution financially towards it, whatever that is, that's totally cool. I happily accept that. If not, that's totally cool too. Please accept it as my gift to you. And when it goes to market, it'll be selling for £222 plus VAT, which will start on, I think it's Friday, is the 1st of May. But it's just me doing my bit for the business community, and I just wanted to, to help people. And interesting enough, I've had a number of people saying, Steve, I've been furloughed or I've been made redundant. My wife's been made redundant as well. And, you know, I could really do with this, or people have been knocked for 6 in all kinds of different ways with this. So it just please accept it as my gift. If you feel you want to make a contribution, you can just message me as well. And so you will get access to that. Have you got the link to that?
No, I don't think I have at the minute. Sorry.
Okay.
In the chat, and then I'll also.
Yeah. Let me literally just quickly. I'm just going to go quickly pop on LinkedIn to go to a last message I sent someone, and I'll just literally just pop it in there.
And if nothing else, what I'll do in the meantime is I did keep up your LinkedIn link here. If you want to link with Steve and discuss obviously any of it further, I've just posted in the chat.
Yeah. So there's the link. There's the link, Lindsay and Guy. Well, Guy, you know, it just intuitively, mate, it just felt like the right thing to do in these times. And then whoever's meant to get it will get access, and you guys obviously are. So yeah, you'll literally get access to the whole course there. It's really simple to sign up with. And, you know, there's more on the ego to WeGo stuff, and there's the metric system in there. There's some, just the module on emotional connection alone. If you just implemented that consistently, that's going to be an absolute game changer. It's really, so please enjoy it, utilize it. And, you know, you're obviously meant to get it. You're welcome, Melanie. No probs. So yeah,
Brilliant. Well,
And do you want to email people that link as
yes,
well?
I will email that, and anyone knows how to get in touch with me as well. But yeah, so I mean, just leaves me to say this is why we put these events on. Everybody, you know, if you see stuff in the future that we're putting on, please feel free to share it with it. And you know, and obviously once the free offer is over, I would also encourage anybody to put them Steve's way. You know, we want the people on this call that's taken the time to get the free stuff, but obviously everyone will have seen how much good content.
Guys already signed up.
Brilliant.
I love it. Awesome.
Well, he wasn't in the room and he wasn't concentrating on what we were saying. He missed the other free gift, didn't he? Because he was.
Yeah,
no,
you're welcome, Mark. No problem,
I
mate.
really encourage anybody to share Steve's stuff once the free period's over, so that he's able to gain some money back, because he's done this today for nothing. And I appreciate Steve's time. It's meant we've had a good catch up as well. Yeah, and as soon as it is over, I'm sure we'll go for the vegan curry again.
Oh yeah, that'd be lovely.
And
love a vegan curry.
Yes. So as I say, thank you very much. If anybody does any other questions, I think we've got a couple of minutes left. But alternatively, get in touch if you need the link. And time waits for no man.
Guy, you're vegan as well. Oh, love it. Okay. What I will just say is if you do like further down.
Stop. We've had the offer. We've seen the offer. Kathy has taught me to make curry, so I'm taking that offer up. If you're not.
You can take it up first. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to be down there. So, if any of you, if you're going through the course and you know you're finding that you want some support, that's my. I've just put that in the chat. That's my website in there. I do some one-to-one work. I've massively reduced it now. Now the course is done, but you know, if there at any point you want some support from me, then just have a look on there.
Yeah, sorry, and I'm sure Steve will appreciate some feedback on his LinkedIn profile about what you've seen today as well.
Sure.
Like I said, if he's done this for nothing, and I think it's the least that we can do. If we can make sure we can put some comments back to him, then that would be greatly appreciated. So
yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn, and now if you've got access to the course, go and bloody implement it, because it's worth fuck all if you don't.
Blunt to the point as always. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, everybody. Yes, I've just had a message. Yeah, that's brilliant, Guy. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll have a chat about that, Steve, afterwards. So cool. I'll give you a call as soon as we're done on this. But
all right, mate.
You're welcome, Mark.
Well, dude, I've literally got to go shopping the Aldi, mate. Can we catch up later?
Yeah, give me a shout when you're free.
All right. Much love, everybody. Best of luck with it all. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye. So that leaves that. I'll bid you adieu, and we'll speak soon.